Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Don't forget you can check out this show on your iOS app, PS4, or Xbox One. Anywhere you can find IGN apps, including all of those platforms. CJ, I am back from my vacation.
Welcome back.
Yes, and thank you for joining us. Fran is in LA. I'm back from vacation. He's going somewhere.
He is.
And today we have My Name is Bife. How's it going?
How are you guys doing?
I'm doing great. I am very happy to be back, and we have some very exciting news that I have come back and gotten to enjoy. Last night, an image was revealed for the Rise of Iron, what people are thinking is the new Destiny expansion. I'll start with our guest. Do you think this is legitimate?
I'm always on the fence for the sake of caution, but it's looking more and more legitimate as time goes on. So I'm leaning towards yes here. I'm leaning towards yes.
For me, the artwork looks too good to be fake. Like, it's customized. We can tell that Lord Saladin is standing there with a big hammer. He's outside of what looks like the Cosmodrome. You know, there's some wolves hanging out. I watched one of your videos where you said the wolves were the one thing where you're like, this could be photoshopped in.
That was initially my thought. I thought to myself, they do kind of look like some images that I've seen of stock wolves on places like Shutterstock or whatnot, but the more and more that things go on, and the fact that it does make quite a lot of sense, again, the little things keep on moving forward, and they keep on telling me, like, yeah, this is true, this has got to be legit. So we've seen the image zoomed out several times, we've seen it recropped, we've seen it pop up all over the place. I'm almost completely convinced by this point, but for the sake of caution, I don't completely confirm it's legit until we hear it officially from either Bungie or Activision. That's always my line. That's always my line.
That's a good point. Kotaku is saying they have two sources confirming its legitimacy, but I'm with you. I like to wait until Activision or Bungie actually confirm it for real. But I'm 99% sure this is legit. CJ, where do you stand?
And it's exciting, yeah, just looking at it. I love that low angle shot, the way it's framed. Yeah, it does look legit. So, I mean, but you're right, until we hear otherwise. Very cool looking shot, though.
So the reason this is very, very exciting for me is because, Bife, I was actually watching a bunch of your lore videos and learning more and more about the Iron Banner and the Lords of Iron and all those people, and what this could mean gets me very excited for what the content could be. Why don't you tell people a little bit about the lore, about Radagast and all these other characters that are briefly mentioned in some of the items and Grimoire?
So basically, the lore of the Iron Banner goes all the way back in Destiny's story to one of those battles that we don't actually get to see in game. It's called the Battle of the Six Fronts. Titans are very into this because that's actually where their logo got made. The idea is the House of Devils is attacking the city, and they had 4 legions worth of Titans. They had to hold it on 6 different fronts. Not a single one of them broke. And this is initially where the Lords of Iron actually forged. These are the first 9 people that you see in kind of all the Iron Banner items, particularly the weapons. So it's not the year 2 ones like Wayloran. It's going to be the year 1 particular people like, say, Timer or Radagast, as you mentioned.
Scory, Fellwinter, those people. Yeah.
And it's interesting because especially in the PlayStation exclusive class items that we get in year 2 for the Iron Banner, there's been loads of little hints about each of the characters and their lore. So for example, I mean, you know Fellwinter's Light, the infamous year 1 dreaded shotgun of the Crucible.
I remember it.
As do I.
Like who didn't have one of those damn things? God, that's awful. But the amazing thing about that is it was wielded by a warlock called Fellwinter. And supposedly, the sort of backstory behind him, as it seems to be indicated from the lore, is that there's aspects of betrayal, that he was a Void Walker, and that he wasn't necessarily the most morally upstanding of the Iron Lords. And again, that's all stuff that we're seeing from item descriptions. There is no concrete grimoire on this, so it's very much the case that we still need to have this real story fleshed out. But he's one of the much more darker ones. You then go ahead and take a look at some of the other Iron Lords. So Ephrodite, a hunter. Her sniper rifle, for example, Aphrodite's spear, there's great lore behind that and how accurate she was. There's
also memorable.
Every shot was a kill, basically, was the lore of that character.
Every time her spear fired around, an enemy of the city fell, I think is the line.
Yes.
Or something along those.
No, you got it.
Quotes. I don't know. Either way, they basically are a group of really, really strong guardians. And there's an indication that they formed the Iron Banner together, and at some point it was broken. And again, this is all stuff that we could potentially be exploring. But the interesting thing that this has for the Rise of Iron, particularly means that we could be going into the past. And that's kind of a scary notion. Alternatively, of course, this could be something set in present day. Maybe Lord Saladin is actually going forward and saying, hey, I'm going to reform the Iron Banner because it has been broken. But either prospect, I think, is really fascinating because on one hand, we get this massive battle with the House of Devils, the Fallen. You know, it's literally the second largest battle in the history of the city, and it opens up the past of Destiny as an era that we can explore. And that's where so much cool stuff has happened, you know? Battle of the Twilight Gap, Dreadgun Yor, the guys who entered the Vault of Glass for the first time, the assault on Mare Ibrium, basically where Crota looked at 1,000 Guardians and invading the moon and was like, yeah, no, I think I'm going to kill all of you. You know, like, there are such cool stories here. And opening up the past like that is a really cool option.
We have
but at the same time, it's future is possible too. So we can see what happens on new locations. It's all over the place. Sorry for interrupting.
No, it's okay. I know Gathalion's not buying the past thing. We'll see who's right in the long run. What is really fantastic is we have this amazing shot of Lord Saladin holding what people are saying is a battle axe. Right. Now, there is a note that Jolder had a hammer, and there's an arm that says, forged in the remembrance of Jolder, she whose mighty hammer taught the darkness fear. Now, I'm wondering, maybe the weapon we're seeing is that particular weapon, but, you know, there's the Titan hammer, which is a little smaller, not as long. I don't know. You guys think there's anything there?
I personally don't think so, but there is some other stuff to indicate that there's weapons that we could actually see that which are a bit more accurate to this. So if you go to the speaker and you have a few spare legendary marks and motes of light, you can buy those legendary Titan marks, for example, you know, the ones that you get that are just kind of fancy and they've got all those different designs. One of them is known as Thalor's Golden Maul, and it literally has a double-headed axe just like the one on the picture.
Nice.
Reasons why this is interesting, right? Like, for starters, golden indicates potentially wreathed in flame, which, I mean, look at the damn thing. The whole head is on fire. So that's going to be cool if that's the case. But also, Thalor was a Crucible champion who was slain by Dreadgun Yor, the guy who originally wielded Thorn. And he's one of the darker guardians in the history of the tower. So, lore-wise, that takes us down interesting avenues. But again, there's no link between Thalor and the Iron Banner, so there is no guarantee that that's actually the weapon that he's wielding. It's the closest link that we have at this point, but alternatively, I mean, who knows? At the very beginning of the expansion, we could just get a cutscene where Saladin is fighting some fool and a captain comes along and charges him and then he just pulls out a battle axe and kills him in one swing. He's like, this is my weapon. Like, that's the cool lore that I want to see. I want this to be Saladin's personal weapon.
Could be like a sword, maybe? Gameplay like that, incorporated in, third-person perspective.
I think that it'll be its own kind of heavy weapon, really. I think we're going to see just more variations on those heavy melee weapons. That'll be like, maybe more PvE focused. So, I mean, they're heavier, so they're not going to swing as quickly, but they may do more damage. We'll see what happens, but I want to see what goes on with this regardless. Just, dude, any cool weapon that we see.
It looks amazing.
It does. It looks awesome.
I love that this image is focusing on Lord Saladin. He's one of my favorite characters in the Destiny universe. He looks imposing when you stand next to him. He's a little bit larger than your standard Titan. He's standing next to like a symbol that's on fire. You know, he's always been the most intriguing to me. And watching your videos about the lore, I'm so happy you're on today, actually, because you just kind of know this stuff extremely well. It gets me really excited about exploring one of the past elements of Destiny. So these characters, there are new Year 2 character names tied to the weapons. Is that correct?
Yes, there are.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, maybe he's building a new Iron Banner, and we assume that the original 9 Iron Lords are dead, correct?
Yeah, dead or at least disbanded.
So I'm wondering, like, maybe is this a war, new versus old, maybe? You know, the new team versus the old team, because Radagast's blade is broken. It means the Iron Banner was broken. And what could be happening here? Like, what do you think is the best theory out there right now?
I think right now, as much as I'd love to visit the past, I think that Gathalion is, to a certain extent, correct when he quotes everybody saying that, yeah, it's probably going to be, you know, a present-day story. My current thought is, because the Iron Banner has been broken so many times, and the Iron Lords that came afterwards, which you mentioned in Year 2, They're mentioned as the Iron Wolves. There doesn't seem to be any kind of unity between them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that what we're going to get is Saladin coming forth and essentially doing what the Iron Banner was made to do. And initially, everybody thinks, oh, it's Crucible, right? And that's actually a huge misconception. When the Iron Banner was formed in the Battle of the Six Fronts, initially, it was formed under Radagast's host. And what they did was they actually reclaimed the city's outer territories from the fallen House of Devils. So it's very much a thing of we're taking the fight to the alien races of Destiny. We're not doing this in the Crucible. It's very much still a thing of honor, but if this is the case, Saladin may be saying, all right, let's go ahead and reclaim some areas of Earth that we haven't necessarily properly got back yet. So we could be looking at, say, the European Dead Zone. Everybody looks at that concept art and they're like, okay, the Cosmodrome walls are in the background there, or maybe that's the city walls, whichever case it is. Still an area of Earth somewhere kind of near Siberia or kind of Asia Minor. And if you look at snow and you think of the idea of reclaiming everything, because I mean, there's snow all over the place. The one other, well, I guess the two other tenuous locations you could look at are Europa and Callisto, but
I've wanted to see Europa for a long time, but this wall looks very old Russia, very Cosmodrome area. So
precisely.
Yeah, I mean, it's just too much on the nose. Do you guys think we're going to see some weather effects maybe? Because there is much more snow than is currently in the game. Maybe they're going to do some sort of transformation to the area, kind of like they did with the tower with all the rose petals. You know?
I'd like to see that. I mean, aside from anything else, improving on the dynamic weather systems that are already sort of in the game, but not entirely. I'd love to just see like super thick snow, as you say. So, you know, maybe something where it snows so much that your mobility is actually hampered. So you've literally got to trudge through it. That's something that, at least on patrols, I think would make things a little bit more interesting.
Definitely.
That'd be cool. Yeah, the dynamic effects of the weather. I've always wondered, I mean, I get why they're not in PvP, but it would be cool to have some of that stuff in there as well, just as, you know, it's part of the level, it's part of the design, you play around it. So, yeah, that would be really cool.
So the Kotaku article says it'll likely be a Fallen-themed raid. CJ, I mean, with the lore, that definitely makes sense. Are you disappointed at all that we're not going to get a Cabal-themed raid?
No, I mean, I think Cabal theme was what people were maybe thinking of just seeing some of those earlier things. But yeah, I like the Fallen. I think that whole interaction that they have with them, and even just, you know, exploring that side of it. I mean, it's another piece of the puzzle we haven't seen yet. So yeah, getting into that now. Fallen, that's okay with me.
Yeah. We've already fought the Hive. We fought the Vex. We fought the Taken. I'm totally down for seeing the Fallen.
Yeah.
Definitely. They're really interesting. Their hierarchy, the way that they interact with each other is also really interesting, like Dreg or like the bottom of the barrel. Then you have Fallen Captains. Like their whole, I don't know, command infrastructure is very intriguing to me. And maybe we'll get to see a little bit more about that when we fight them. Also, they have really cool gear.
They do.
So,
yeah.
So,
from prison, so sweet.
Do you think we'll get, like, obviously we'll get an armor reward of some sort if there is a raid included with this DLC. What kind of armor sets do you think we might see? Just guessing. We're just totally guessing about a lot of this because all we're going off is one image. We know Lord Saladin's involved. We have Iron Banner gear already, so I'm guessing if there is a raid, it's going to be Fallen themed in some way.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if there is specific weapons too, like we're seeing the hammer. Maybe that's just for the Titan. Maybe there might be exclusive Hunter heavy.
Spear.
That's right. Maybe there might be an exclusive Warlock heavy. So
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool to think of. Okay, if they were, you know, specifically towards each class, it wasn't just the hammer for the Titan. I mean, because a Hunter wielding a Titan hammer might be cool, but seems odd.
Yeah.
You know, so from that
it would
standpoint,
be gigantic with a tiny hunter, like a female hunter, with this huge hammer. That'd be kind of cool though too.
So, but yeah, it feels like there's an opportunity maybe for some customizable heavy weapons per each. You know,
and
class.
People love the swords. The swords look so cool and awesome. Imposing to wield.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of interesting to see some new stuff.
Yeah.
Bife, any thoughts there on the weapon design or armor design that we might see?
Well, I mean, if you look at what happened with Dark Below to Taken King, both of them are sort of to do with the Hive, although admittedly Taken King is more to do with the Taken.
Yeah.
But from expansion to expansion, what they've done is they've doubled down on the themes that they have. So if you look at the gear that you have in the Dark Below and compare it to the stuff you have in the Taken King, one of them is sort of Hive-oriented, and the other is like super doubles down on the Hive, and you have literal parts of like the raid bosses ripped off and you're using them as helmets in the case of the Titan. Or, you know, you're taking, say, a strap of Oryx's wing and using it as a cloak or something along those lines. So if we're looking at the same kind of pattern and it is a fallen raid, which again, who knows if it is, but if it is a fallen raid, maybe we'll see something much more similar to that. So I would love to see, for example, a Warlock shoulder that is literally just a captain's kind of helm horns that he's got kind of back
that
there,
could be neat.
just ripped off and put onto either shoulder pad. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I'd love to see from fallen raid gear, if it is going to be a raid.
That would be awesome.
Look cool.
Like their helmets are really, really cool. Like, yeah, if it's not on your head, like if you don't have head, like maybe it's like a chest piece. We've seen that a lot with some of the Titan designs or the Warlock design that has like a wolf on the chest, stuff like that. I'm definitely excited to see that. Because this image focuses so much on Lord Saladin, he's clearly like, this is my city, back off in that image. You
that
know?
angle.
He's protecting. He's definitely protecting something. So something's going to go down. I have a question for you guys. Is he going to die? And if he does, will he be replaced? So question one, do you think he'll die, CJ?
I don't think he'll die. No. I
No?
mean, within the context of Ghosts and Guardians and the way they've set it up right now, I think that would be, yeah, there's no way that he can die. He's a permanent fixture within that whole lore and story. And
How impactful would it be if he did, though? That would be like a punch in the gut, like, oh my God, one of the characters we've had since Vanilla Destiny died. And that would entice you to even more like, I got to do this raid. I have to get revenge. That'd be phenomenal, right?
It would be.
It'd be good, but I'd want to see his character get developed a lot more before that. You know, it's like it's the problem that Destiny's always had with storytelling is that you've got these characters and they have this great purpose to them and these grand stories behind them that, you know, don't get told enough. But at the same time, if you're not exposed to those more human moments, so to speak, if you don't see those moments where there's laughter, where there's, you know, disappointment, where there's triumph and success, then ultimately a character dying means nothing. Well, and you know what? I don't think he's going to die anyway, because it's one of those things where Destiny's continuity brings you forward. Yeah. And even with, you know, like the Queen supposedly dying, although...
Supposedly.
Yeah, coming back.
Balls up in the air
we'll
on
see.
that one as to whether that's true. But it's, you know, like, it's not out of the question, though. I'll say that much.
Well, you know, we may not see time travel, but maybe he's defending the city, he dies, and then you meet the original Nine Lords, or if there's any left, or the new Nine Lords, and they talk about his legacy, and like his backstory is told through a series of flashbacks.
Yes.
You know, like there's so much that they could do with this character and different ways they could approach the storytelling.
Yes.
It gets me very, very excited, especially because Iron Banner is seriously my favorite event.
It's good.
So it's so cool to know that we're going to find out more. And watching your videos, like, it gets me super excited just about, oh man, there's this whole story that we have just little pieces of that we can get. It's
just about prizing under the surface and actually exposing all of those great tales.
Definitely.
And we all want to play the Twilight Gap. Like, let us do the Twilight Gap. I want to see what happens when I kill 10 people. I need to re-experience that way.
Slightly different kind of worms there, but I will agree, cool battle, but nothing to do necessarily with the Iron Banner. Like, Six Fronts is the one you're thinking of there, and the two do sometimes get confused. Not to say that I wouldn't want to visit it, though, because, like, there are cool stories on their own with the Twilight Gap. That's Saint 14, that's Osiris, that's the original crafting of the Yalahorn. There's just cool stuff in the past of this. I want to go to the past. Can we go there, please?
It would be very fun. Cool. How they deliver that story of the past could be really, really interesting. Yeah. And, you know, if Lord Saladin's busy and he's not delivering the narrative, like, how are the other players going to come into play? Other characters going to come into play. Like,
that'd be cool.
There's going to be a lot of storytelling with this one. I hope it's not just like calm. Like, I really like the cutscenes from the Taken King. I hope we get some more of that. Yeah. You know.
On the very quickly on the note of flashbacks, there's actually the interesting conflict, and on the note of storytelling, between Saladin, Zavala, and Shaxx. So Shaxx at the Battle of Twilight Gap breaks ranks away from both Saladin and Zavala. And, you know, Saladin was basically the mentor to the two of them, so he's a very senior Guardian. Shaxx became kind of an outlier, and he doesn't really talk as much to them now. He's very kind of adversarial with them. Constantly people try and, like, mend that bridge, but every single time it just gets torn apart. And it's this huge rift because Shaxx, by breaking ranks in the way he did, could have actually doomed the whole city. It turns out he saved it, but there's a good story to tell under there, which has got so many great human elements to it as is. Like, juicy stuff, man. Juicy stuff.
That's why they're on 2 floors of the tower. They don't ever interact with each other.
they don't talk. They want a solid foot of concrete between each other.
Yeah.
There's a ton here. I do want to touch on one other thing before we leave, but what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. How do you want this narrative to be told? What story could they be telling? How would they tell it, etc.? Let us know, and we'll talk about your comments possibly next show. There is another small note. There's no trials this week, and I believe they're delaying Iron Banner also due to a glitch that allows you to have unlimited rockets.
Yes.
Super bummer, because I just got back from vacation, so I don't get Trials of Osiris right now. Iron Banner, I just played that before I left, so that was a way off anyway. How often they do it? They do it like once every month, right?
Yeah, once a month.
Yeah, about once a month. That's okay. They delay it a week. Hopefully they fix it quickly, because these are 2 of the best things in Destiny, Trials and Iron Banner. I know Fran and Panda Musk. We're going to do it this week.
I saw
finally.
That little tweet session they had.
Yeah. This is a good move on Bungie's part, though, I think. Yeah. What do you guys think?
Yeah, same thing. Like, I do trials every weekend. I always joke, I need that lighthouse sun to keep me going. But yeah, it's another one of those things, like, the quiver, glitch.
It would just ruin the experience.
It would wreck it. And from that standpoint, and seeing how easily it's able to be done with Clown Cartridge, like getting rockets in trials, like everybody always jokes that in general, that's the one round that seems to be like, why is it there? I don't think anybody goes in trials going, hey, I can't wait till heavy round because that's super fun. It's like, that's the round that needs to go away. And to think about you being able to glitch rockets in any of those rounds would be devastating. So good call on them for, not having it this weekend. It hurts, but it's the right move. So
yeah, hopefully they address it though fast.
Yeah,
because seriously, that's one of my favorite parts of Destiny. And the thing that sucks is, so I went 9-0 on all my characters the first week. I haven't since then. I think the best I've done is 7-0.
So no round 2, no year 2.
No year 2, 9-0 yet.
So no Doctrine.
No Doctrine. Still no Doctrine.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I still need Doctrine. I still need helmets for my. All I want is the helmets, because they're my favorite piece of armor. I need helmets for my Hunter and Titan, but I definitely got the Warlock one because that was by far my favorite design.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when they changed the Iron Banner gear, I was like, I have to get that Warlock helmet before it's not there anymore.
Yeah.
It's good news like both of them drop in the playlist, and you can get one of them from Flawless. So it's like you have the ability to get everything from year 2.
I have the chance if they bring it back.
I will say though, CJ's completely right. Like, canceling Iron Banner and Trials of Osiris was the right move. But one thing I'll go ahead and say is, they need to publicize a way in which you can privately report bugs like this, because otherwise people just immediately go to this method of saying, hey, I'm going to post something to Reddit. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and tweet about this. There is no way of confidentially reporting, or at least no good way of reporting game-breaking bugs. There's the help forums or the bug forums on Bungie.net, but those are public. So the minute you post something on there, it's a treasure trove of, people possibly waiting to like grab those glitches and exploit them.
Yeah.
So really, I think what we need to do if we're going to ask Bungie for something is create some kind of private form where you can just fill it out and say, this is what was happening, these are the conditions under which it occurred, this is the game under which it occurred, link it through the Bungie.net system where you can pull up a past game, and then maybe they can fix it confidentially. Because throwing things out there in the public like this, it gets it fixed, but as a result, we've lost the ability to even choose to do Iron Banner and Trials. That's directly negatively impacted everyone in the game. Even if you don't actually play those activities, you paid for the whole game, you should have the choice to play everything. So, I don't know.
Well, that was something.
This is why I don't publicize glitches unless Bungie specifically talks about them and is like, we're fixing them. It's a big pet peeve of mine.
We chatted that a little bit about that last week. Just what constitutes the banhammer, And when there's
unlimited rockets, yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry,
so
you got to go, bro. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things, you just wonder how much they can track. I mean, when there's a lag or network issue, that's one thing. But when you're exploiting glitches in the game that, sometimes, people really do stumble upon them honestly. And so it's like, you'd hate to be in a situation where you get banned doing something that, is legitimately in the game. And it's not your fault if that happens. I mean, how was this in the game for, what did we say if we were chatting, like Taken King's been out for 8 months? And this is just like coming to realization now. I'm still like boggled by that. Like, that's pretty incredible. So,
we're going to wrap up the show here, but really quick, Bife, I have one more question for you. One, where can people find all of your stuff, all of your great lore content, and all of your video products? And number two, how many hours do you have in Destiny?
Wow. Number two is going to be a question I think I can look up. But number one, you can find me on YouTube. If you just search My Name is Bife, I'm going to be up there. You'll find all my lore videos in a playlist on my channel. For those of you who've seen my content before, actually, later today, as it happens, I'm launching a Patreon page. So that's going to help me more productively fund the artists that make it. None of the money goes to me. It's literally just so I can make better lore content. Mm-hmm. So if you're really, really passionate about the lore, I hope that you'd at least check that out.
What's the address?
Sorry, I got motorbikes outside.
That's okay. They're going to donate to your Patreon right now. They're like, we gotta go. What's the web address where people can help you out?
Sorry, say again, Justin.
Like it's patreon.com/mynameisbife?
Yes, I believe so. Sorry, let me. I can.
I hope I only called you Biff like once or twice during the show. Yeah.
I think we're fine.
Okay. Okay.
Nah, it's. Thank you for at least noticing. You remembered my pet peeve, Destin.
Yeah, sorry. First time I met you, I'm like, oh yeah, Biff, and you're like, nope. Nice meeting you too, Dustin.
Slight mistake there. But yeah, if you just go to patreon.com and search My Name is Bife, I'll be up there too, hopefully by the end of today. And yeah, that's going to be something awesome because I can help make more lore videos. On the subject of how many hours in Destiny, I think there's a website for this, isn't there? Like, how many hours I've wasted in Destiny.com or something, right?
So I just brought up Destins right now. Do you want to know how many?
So this is only, like, they calculate it in a weird way. So mine says 851, but if you actually take everything into account, it's way more than that.
Yeah. And you have 50-some hours on Xbox as well.
Yeah, so I have my Xbox hours that aren't calculated, but yeah, it's well over, I think I'm over 1,500 if you include like all time in Destiny. Yeah, I think that removes like loading times and stuff,
I think
too.
It does, yeah. I don't really even want to look. I haven't done this in a long time, and I'm kind of nervous to even do it.
We're all looking it up. CJ's going to check out his really quick. Bife, do you have your stats up? Are you embarrassed to talk about how many hours?
Oh my goodness, wow. Let's see.
What website are you using?
So I'm using www.wastedondestiny.com.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's what we got.
Where you can go ahead and look at all this different stuff. Apparently, I have, in terms of active hours, so that's not stuff in orbit, I have 1,602 hours.
All right, double my time.
61 hours on deleted accounts as well, because I had a couple of vaults prior to this.
Nicely done.
Double my time wasted. You look like you got me beaten too.
I'm up there.
I'm embarrassed.
I play a lot of trials, like way too much. So I'm at a nice flat 1,200 hours.
Jeez.
Ooh.
Jeez.
No deleted characters.
That is a lot.
In this episode of Fireteam Chat, Destin has a life.
Right? I take trips and stuff once in a while.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Sorry for my measly 870 hours.
It's okay. We'll get you to the lighthouse here too.
I'll get there someday.
We'll do it next few weeks.
Bife, thank you so much for joining us. I'm really happy to hear about your Patreon, and I wish you continued success with all of your YouTube and Patreon endeavors for sure. CJ, it's nice to have you on the show.
Thanks, man. Welcome
now that
back.
You're here full time. Yeah, thank you so much.
I said you swam with sharks. Did that happen?
I swam with a shark.
Okay.
I was swimming with fish, and I was like, there's a shark. And I have footage of it. It was awesome.
That's good. I said that you did, so I wanted to make sure that was legit. So,
I actually did. It was really, really cool.
That's cool.
Thank you so much. Guys, let us know what you think about this Destiny rumor in the comments below. And until next time, Guardians out.